1989, state capture, money and the law. This is an important notice of my entry into the political arena as a SWAPO member. What I want to know from the political leaders and the electorate of this country is what they know about the origins of our 148 billion national debt. That means Namibia's 3 million citizens each owe 50,000 of this debt. This includes all the opposition parties who in fact share in the debt and are accomplices in creating the debt in the first place. So I don't care for which party you vote for or which leader you choose, because none of them will reinvent the business economic dimensions, the science on which the country was built and enriched by making a profit. This national enrichment objective was replaced by a debt creation, privatization, national development scheme since 1980. A R&B national development illusion imposed and intended to create the 148 billion national debt that all citizens, including me, now carry. I'm not paying $1 of this 148 billion. And the reasons for that lie in the question to all political leaders. What do they know about the apartheid transnational state-sponsored terrorist acts of high treason committed against Namibia and the United Nations to create this 148 billion national debt that we carry? It constitutes a $50 billion quantum of damages, which I move in and claim with you in the national interest. The brutal imposition of this privatization debt creation prescription is in direct conflict with the SWAPO constitutional national development objective. This is a public challenge to leaders on their perception and capability of running the country. All are trapped in an escalating debt beyond their control, which they need to be educated on in the nation's financial interest. Namibia, endowed with such massive marine and mineral resources, and in its history from 1921 to 1967 had an annual growth rate of real gross national income per capita ranging between 3.7% and 6.38%, making a profit. A government profit-orientated development objective that came under systematic attacks since 1967. The beginning of the destruction of our massive marine resources and the looting of our precious mineral and diamond wealth under apartheid, corporate, fascist and right-wing political alliance demands societal and economic justice, as I have demanded in declarations and demands to the UN and the International Criminal Court in 2009, 2014 and 2019. So, the question of how Namibia became burdened with this astronomical debt is the challenge I bring into the public domain. It will help us determine which of these leaders are competent to govern in the best interest of the citizens. All Namibian citizens play a strategic role in the challenge to the political leaders in understanding in the root cause of our societal and economic demise, and on which a resolution to it is comprehended and logically pursued. I repeat, this challenge will determine who is competent to run the country. Your presence at political forums where political leaders, academics, media, the UN and EU countries represented in Namibia are now challenged in the public domain on the origins of this privatization prescription on which our 148 billion national debt we carry is created. You need to know that I have already formally challenged these institutions in a protracted defense on their incapacitated international legal obligation to investigate the act of high treason committed in Namibia in 1989 that facilitated the creation of our national debt of 148 billion. It is the platform from which you can determine in your own mind who is competent to run our country in the national interests that demands economic and societal justice be dispensed. is the nation's unified political and economic mission, one Namibia, one nation. Founding President Sam Nujuma's SWAPO-led government never agreed to a clandestine arrangement designed to deliberately drive the population into poverty. On such a deceptive national debt creation, privatization, acquisition, development scheme, a scheme that was imposed on the country by brute force, namely blackmail, assassinations, bombings, betrayal, and the secret killing of hundreds of SWAPO captors in 1988 to 1989 that were held and ordered to be killed by the South African apartheid regime, is declared by me as a victim and a witness following a protracted defense since 1985 against the key financial beneficiary to the wealth of Namibia, the face of which is the Nicky Oppenheimer family first and foremost.